Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on I levy, no sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm cool. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboy Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's stream. We have Thursday night football between the Denver Broncos and the Cleveland Browns. Ben, as a Broncos fan, how excited are you for this game?
Well, there's an interesting dilemma brewing in this game, and potentially, if the Broncos come out and lay an egg and lose against Case Keenum, backup quarterback, there's a good chance that there could be some significant moves made to either the offensive coordinator or the head coach as this next week is a bye. So that's kind of how I'm feeling. But I would love a win.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm walking away with, we're walking away with something here, I guess.
Well, I mean, hopefully, at least from that perspective, right? There's no guarantee that you get a desired coach firing if this game doesn't go your way.
You're right.
You'd probably rather just root for the win.
Yeah, root for the win, and then if it doesn't happen, then there will be blood.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
but it's obviously this is probably one of the uglier games to try to handicap, look at data, headed into the game itself. So maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised and it will turn out to be entertaining.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about this game that make it difficult to handicap and a little bit difficult to get excited for as a neutral fan. But we're going to touch on all that in a second. I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat. I see we got Matt. It says, boys, I need whales and winners. And I said that this is not a good game, at least from the whale perspective. Hopefully, we'll still have some winners, although not advised to go big on this game. A lot of uncertainty.
Yes,
we've got Sausage King of Chicago. Love the name. Says, first time chat from viewer. First time FanDuel with $12K left over. So what do you mean? Do you have like $12,000 in your FanDuel account that you need to bet? Or are you doing like a...
Hopefully he hasn't lost.
That would be nice. Yeah. Hopefully you haven't lost.
Yeah.
12K. That would be bad. And Big Zonix, haven't seen you in a while. Says, what's going on? I'm on Keenum over 19 completions. What else you like? So we're gonna get into the whole prop market in a second. Although I do have some things that I like.
Is he saying he has money left over after he constructed a lineup?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what he means.
Come on, Nick.
Putting 2 and 2 together in like a literal math sense, I'm good at. Putting 2 and 2 together in like an interpreting things, not my strong suit.
But that's why we make a good team, you know.
Yeah, you're 2 and 2. If I told you to add them right now, you'd probably say 5. But you understood what Sausage King was saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure this is a shit show DFS wise. This is a shit show just like NFL wise in general. Mm-hmm. With so many injuries, so many key guys out, so many other key players are just hard to trust volume wise, efficiency wise, everything wise.
And guys playing who are banged up. Like I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is 100% either.
Yeah.
So there's that too. There's a lot happening in this one. So if anyone tries to tell you that they have some crazy angle, at least on the Browns or Broncos, I wouldn't believe it. Now I will say though, in the prop market, maybe we can find something. It's going to be a little more challenging, but I might have something I like. We'll see.
Yeah, there's always value in the prop market. That's the way that I think, at least. So I think that this game, when I was going through looking at these teams, the first thing that stood out at me was all of the 3-3s going on. So both of these teams, their record on the season is 3-3. Both of these teams are 3-3 against the spread. Sadly, over and unders don't match up. Broncos, 2 overs, 4 unders on the year. Browns are the other way around, 4 overs and 2 unders on the season. The lines that we have in the game, Cleveland at home, despite all of the injury concerns, still 1.5 point favorites. And the total looks to have settled in at 40 points. So the model that we have here at Capwise has this as a 25.01 to 22.64 Broncos win. So model likes the Broncos to pull the upset on the road. I think from some perspective it makes sense, right? Because they're the team that has their starting quarterback. They are the team that has their their number 1 and the number 2 backs actually playing tonight. So why do you think that Cleveland is favored? Despite the injuries to Baker Mayfield, the injury to Kareem Hunt, the injury to Nick Chubb, the other guys who are like banged up and playing, like Jarvis Landry, I think is going to be playing in this one, but he's been on the IR to start the year. OBJ's banged up. They got players on the line and on defense banged up. Why are they still favored?
I think there's 2 factors. Well, of course, the home field, but that's already in the line. I think the 2 things, though, are the concerns the Broncos have from the market as far as, are they even going to play hard? Because to be completely honest, I don't think the Broncos played hard for 4 quarters against the Raiders. That was a really bad loss, and I think a lot of people were watching that game, right? Because the whole Raiders situation and people wanted to see how they were going to play. And then I think, too, I feel like the market still has a little bit of faith in Case Keenum. I mean, he's not a rookie quarterback kind of being thrown into the fire. He's more of a, Chase Daniels, Nick Foles type guy where he's not going to maybe throw 4 interceptions. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to overly surprise you because I thought this would end at a pick'em when the news came out about Baker Mayfield, and it hasn't done that. So I'm kind of surprised as well.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised that this has stayed Cleveland minus some points. Does Denver like Fangio? Question in the chat.
No.
Not at all.
I don't even think the locker room likes him.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what you meant.
Yeah, regardless of what it is. The Denver Broncos team doesn't like Fangio. I don't think the Denver sports media likes Fangio. I don't think that the Denver sports fans like Fangio.
Well, the easiest thing you can do to not be liked by a fan base is when you don't go for it on like 4th and 2 from your 40 and you or you punt the ball, or if it's like you're at the 45-yard line and you don't try to go for it when the analytics say so, and then you take a delay game. So right off the bat, when he started to do that, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, who is this guy? He's playing like it's the 1980s out there, Yeah. So that was just the start, and then I think the defense, which he has control over, has looked really bad this season. So there's a lot of question marks right now.
Yeah, I think that this matchup as a whole really feels like stoppable force meets movable object. I think both of these teams offensively have a lot of question marks. Obviously, on the Brown side. Case Keenum playing over Baker Mayfield, plus the backs being out. So it's Dearness Johnson getting his first career start at running back. Plus injury concerns at receiver. Plus they've struggled a little bit the last couple weeks. And the Broncos, it's been kind of the same deal offensively. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is definitely not 100%. The running backs are both fine, Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, but they're not doing a whole lot to win a game for the Broncos.
And I think that's partly because of Pat Shurmur, the offensive coordinator. Like, when you have talented backs, and I'm not saying these two are like in the top 10, but I mean, Javonte Williams is second in the league in broken tackles, and he's behind Mixon, but Mixon has an additional 60 carries.
Yeah, Javonte Williams looks really good. He looks like a steal.
Yeah, he does. And look, we're not saying we have to run the ball with him 20 times, but I think there's ways you can get him the ball and mix it up a little bit offensively, and we just haven't seen that a lot. So I think a lot of people are frustrated because he's really talented and he's not getting the volume. So we'll see if that changes tonight.
Yeah, we will. On the flip side, though, both of these defenses have been struggling quite a bit. So on Cleveland's side, they've given up a lot of points recently. They gave up 37 last week against Arizona, and they gave up 47 the week before against the Chargers. They played a couple of good games. They only gave up 7 to Minnesota, and they only gave up 6 to Chicago. But then before that, they gave up 21 to Houston, which is not very good. And they gave up 33 to Kansas City. But those last two games especially, 37 and 47 in the last two. Not looking good. And Denver has been much the same. 34 points allowed last week to Vegas. Vegas, again, with the midweek coaching change that kind of caught everybody off guard, still scored 34. And the week before, Pittsburgh put up 27 against the Broncos. So offensive question marks, defensive question marks. Which of those is going to win out? Is it going to be the stoppable force that is these two teams' offenses, or is it going to be the movable object, the defenses that you can move the ball pretty easily on? And there's one more factor that comes into play that we haven't talked about, and that's the weather. So it looks like there's going to be
all that.
There's going to be no rain. It looks like the rain has passed / isn't going to start till later in the night. But their winds are up in the high teens to low 20s. And that's typically not a good recipe for offenses. At the same time, though, the Browns did play in similar conditions last week against Arizona, and they gave up 37 points.
Yeah. And this is already down to 40. It's pretty low. So.
It's extremely low.
Yeah.
So I actually think that there's some value on this over. I think
I agree.
I think that just like everything that's come out, the Bridgewater injury concerns, Mayfield is out, running backs are out for Cleveland. There's wind. Everything has just taken this number and dragged it down and down and down and down and down. And now we're at a point where are these offenses exciting? No, not really. But are the defenses good? Also, no. And if you told me that you had equally skilled offense and defense, which I kind of think that we do, I would put a game like that just completely blindly in like the 45 to 48 point range.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, Nick, let's say there's no weather in this one. I think it would have definitely gone up just a tad from the opener. But also, if Mayfield was in too, I think this ends up closer to 44.5. So you have to ask yourself, is, Baker Mayfield being out and the weather worth, you could say 4.5 points?
Yeah, I kind of think the answer is no. And we saw it last week in the same stadium with one of these same teams playing. That Arizona-Cleveland game last week, the total opened up at 54.5. With the weather concerns, got bet all the way down to 48. And was some adjustment needed? Yes, the total finished at 51. So the opener was 3 points over. But then it just got bet down too much because I think we're getting to the point where even the general public is aware of the weather and kind of will refuse to bet an over, even if a number's already been bet down too much because of weather. And I think that we've seen something similar here.
Yeah, especially when it's this low too, because
Yeah.
even if you get a defensive turnover for, let's say, a pick six or a scoop and score, like if I were to tell you that right now, you would probably not bet this under. And when you start thinking that way, you have to be very careful about it, right? Because the margin for something to go wrong, it's pretty. It's to that point where 40 is just so low where it could just go over by accident.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like the over. Do you have any thoughts on sides here? So the model does like the Broncos. I'm actually seeing here now on PointsBet that this total is at 2. Checking a couple other books, I see a 1.5 still on DraftKings and Superbook. So we'll leave it at Cleveland minus 1.5 as our official, unofficial line that we have up. But do you have any thoughts there? Or is it a fade spot?
It's a fade spot. You know, I actually bet this at +3 for the Broncos right before it moved. I still got that on Circa, but at +2, I think +3 made a little more sense. If it was +3, I would feel comfortable giving out a lean, but I think at a +2, nah.
Yeah. And I think I'm with you. I mean, I would maybe consider a Broncos money line, but I think I'd rather just throw my my eggs into the over basket.
Yeah. Yeah, 40, man.
Yeah,
I think it hit 39.5 at some spots too.
Yeah, it's just too low. Like, I don't care about the win. I care about the win and I care about the offensive injuries. But I also care about how bad these defenses are.
Yeah. And again, Case Keenum.
Yeah, this is he's not like a career backup like some of those guys are. This is his 63rd career start in the NFL.
Yeah. So he's not. I know it's a short week, but at the same time, like, I have the utmost confidence in him as a guy who's ready to go, I would say. And it's not like he is coming in the middle of the game, right? Like, he's had at least a few days to prepare. Granted, the short week doesn't help, but I don't think he's going to be deer in the headlights tonight.
Yeah, and like Synchronicity's saying, it's a coordinator that he's played with before.
Yeah, so he knows the offense. They know what he's going to like. It's not like
he's played with before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like Davis Mills, right? Where even though he played well, but it was like Coley's trying to figure him out. Like, what do we do? Like, where do we put him? That was a shit show. I don't think it's going to be like that in this one. I think you're going to see him move the ball at times. It just comes down to, can they get the ball in the end zone? But I think they'll put up some points. I guess the implied score in this one has to be what,
21-19.
21-19?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So M Priest says, what about teasing Denver and the over together?
I actually think the teaser spot isn't a bad play here.
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but the question now is, do you want to tease? Because what a lot of people are doing is they're teasing the 40 to 48, under 48, or under 46.5, or I guess 46, or over 34. I would probably lean over 34, obviously.
Yeah, I think the over 34 sounds great.
Yeah, that's really low.
It's extremely low. That's like a 17-17 game. So yeah, I usually hate teasers, but that actually feels pretty good.
Yeah, less variance. Total 40.
Yeah, over 34, and then Denver -9 or Denver Denver +9, Denver +8, or whatever.
Man, if Denver doesn't cover the +8, oh my! I think there could be someone fired like within a few days. Like that would be bad if they don't come within 2 scores. Especially Case Keenum, because he was on the Broncos too. That just adds even more to everything.
Uh-huh. All right, so you ready to hop into the prop market?
Yep.
Okay, so starting off, as always, with quarterbacks. We've got, not so surprisingly, some low numbers here. And that the model, I think, is overestimating how these guys are going to do in the passing game. So Case Keenum over-under set at 214.5. Teddy Bridgewater over-under 226.5. Model has both of these guys in like the 275 range. I think part of that is just the fact that on Cleveland's side, they're missing some running backs. So maybe they're just going to need to pass the ball a little bit more. And I think that benefits, obviously, Keenum's over. And on the Broncos side of things, I mean, they have the backs, yes, but it kind of just feels like a good spot for Teddy to throw the ball a little bit. I don't really have anything statistical to back that up, but it just feels like that kind of spot.
Well, and also if you look at his game log, right? Let's just go from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take that?
No, you have it.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
No.
So I was going to say Giants 264, but that was a game where fourth quarter they weren't even passing the ball, so he could have easily been on pace for 300. Jags, we saw more of that where they let him air it out even near the end. 328. Jets 235, but same deal. Fourth quarter game was wrapped up.
Yeah, and a 235 is an over on his number today.
Yeah, so it's not like those are even bad performances to what we're speaking to. And then Ravens, he was injured halfway through, but then Steelers and Raiders, we saw 288 and 334. So he's airing the ball out. He's getting yards. I know you have the win concern, but I still think there's a little value on this over.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like Teddy's throwing the ball 40 yards down the field, right? I mean, like that's where the wind really starts to impact your throws. Mm-hmm. If you have shorter throws, getting Fant involved, getting the ball to a back, like the wind doesn't impact that really at all.
Mm-hmm.
On those shorter throws.
Not until you start airing it out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
deep.
That's kind of the game that the Broncos run in the passing attack. I mean, some, I guess, intermediate length shots to Patrick, mm-hmm. especially. But I mean, they don't have like a super speedster that they're trying to throw the ball 50 yards down the field to. I mean, that's the kind of play that gets eliminated here.
Mm-hmm.
So I like both of these overs.
Yeah, and also Case Keenum. I mean, it's a pretty easy square play to say, I'm going to play the under for a guy who's a backup playing in the wind. 218, that's a low mark.
It's a low-ass number.
Yeah. And also, the defense is, like, the Broncos' secondary has looked so bad.
Yeah, it has been pretty bad.
Like, the Raiders just tore them apart with no head coach. Well, they had a head coach, but
with a new head coach.
They're like, hey, we have 0 head coaches today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interim. Okay, you're a head coach. But you know what I'm saying. Obviously, an interim, I mean, someone has to act like the head coach, but yeah, and they tore Denver apart, so.
Yeah, I mean, and so the Broncos this year have allowed 267 to the Giants, 2 games below 200, just 118 to the Jags and 160 to the Jets. But those are 2 rookie quarterbacks who, through some picks, were in some bad spots. 316 to Lamar Jackson, 253 to Big Ben, 341 to Carr.
Mm-hmm.
And again, let's not forget, Nick Chubb is out. Kareem Hunt is out. Jarvis Landry is back.
And I think Beckham's in.
Yeah, I think Beckham's playing. I think the whole tight end contingent for Cleveland is playing. And let us not forget, Case Keenum is literally the NCAA's all-time leader in passing yards for a career.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's capable of throwing the ball a lot. Again, 60. This is his 63rd career start. He's thrown for like 15,000 yards in the NFL.
And he's played in wind. It gets windy down there a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm not concerned. I think that this over 218.5 is a good spot. Do I think he's going to hit the 280 that the model has him at? Probably not. But I think 250 to 260 is a good look for both of these guys, really. So somebody said Keenum 19 completions. I think that's another good look.
Yeah, that might even be a better look than the over yardage. Maybe.
Yeah, so Keenum over 19.5 completions plus 105. And I actually think that this benefits, I think the win benefits a shorter passing game, obviously, because of what we were talking about before. But especially with Landry back, slot receiver, getting him involved, I actually do think that this completions is, especially at plus money, that feels like a better look than the yards. Kind of for that reason. It's going to be the short passing game. And I don't think that Denver's necessarily going to go out and chew clock. So I think that the Browns will have the ball a decent amount. Yeah, I like that quite a bit.
Down to talk about some running backs.
Yeah, in 1 second. Oh, I guess these are too far down. I can't scroll. But longest completion. Potentially kind of interesting also. Case Keenum at 34.5, Teddy Bridgewater at 36.5.
What was the first one?
34.5 for Keenum.
That's tough.
Let me look at some game logs real quick. So longest completion.
Too.
Yeah. Oh, this is kind of stupid. They don't have longest completion listed out by game. So yeah, never mind. But I think unders there are an interesting thought. So let's take a look at some rushing props. We've got. Which team do you want to start with?
The Broncos.
Start with the Broncos. All right. We've got two guys. Javonte Williams, over under 51.5. Melvin Gordon, over under 44.5.
Went up a little bit for Williams. Let's see if I can find a 48, 49. Let me see here. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't have anything to say here until you say something.
I was gonna say my favorite prop here is Javonte Williams over 49.5, and I know it's maybe tough to play because it is a split backfield in Denver, but there's part of me that understands where the Broncos are at offensively with the situation with Pat Shurmur, because again, if the Broncos lay an egg and they don't put up a lot of points, and sorry, my dogs are barking, he's fired. And I think he feels that pressure. Hold on 1 second.
They're foreshadowing a Broncos win. Dogs are barking.
Yeah, that's true. I'm fine with that. I think Javonte Williams, the way he's played, and he's just been so efficient when he gets the ball, I just think that they're going to try to feed him the ball even more in this one. So I'm going to go with the over there.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good look, too. So Williams hasn't had... Well, I mean, I guess he's been pretty much 50-50 with Melvin Gordon carries-wise. They've been pretty much at the same numbers every game. I mean, last week there was a 10 and an 11. They've been, aside from week 3, they've been within 2 carries of each other, usage-wise, the whole season. But Williams has definitely been the guy who's been a little bit more effective on the ground. He's simultaneously feels like a little bit more of a bruiser, and also somebody with a little bit more elusiveness. It just looks so good.
Yeah,
out there. Last 3 games for Javonte Williams, 7 carries for 48 yards. That's nearly 7 yards per carry. 8 carries for 61, 7.5 yards per carry, and then 11 carries for 53. That's like almost 5 yards per carry. He's been really good. And like Synchronicity is saying, Browns have several front 7 players injured. I think it's a good opportunity for the Browns to run the ball.
Nick, one guy in particular who I was talking to, someone who follows the Browns closely and also the Broncos, just because of where he played in college. Owusu Kamara, which is the outside linebacker for the Browns. He has been playing at a Pro Bowl caliber level so far, so he's out of this one. And he has good speed around the edge, but with him out, I think that favors Javonte Williams, because if he can break one, which he has in the past this season, that suits him well. So I even would say look at the over for Javonte Williams for carries, but I actually like the over yardage more so, just because of that breakaway type big play capability that he has, and I think that number's at 10.5 for rushes, but I think the best play here for Williams would just be his yardage.
Yeah, so I'm seeing Javonte Williams over 11.5 carries, minus 140.
Okay, yeah, so it's gone up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that if he hits that 12 carry mark, that this 51.5 feels pretty good.
Yeah.
So on the Browns side of things, we've got 2 players with numbers listed. We've got Case Keenum over under 3.5. I think that's a little silly to touch that one way or the other. And then Dearness Johnson over under 55.5. And I think the over there feels kind of nice.
Yeah, it does. I am scared to play that over just because I just don't know how effective he's going to be. But he's kind of the only guy there, minus Felton.
And he was effective last week. He
did come in, huh?
Yeah, he came in last week after Kareem Hunt went out. And let me pull up exactly what he did. But he had... Oh, wait, I guess he only had 1 carry last week. For some reason, I thought he had more.
Are you thinking of Felton?
Felton didn't have a carry last week.
No, he didn't. Felton's a guy I watched in college. He played at UCLA. And it's funny, he played as a wide receiver for 2 seasons, and then he moved to running back. So that's interesting out of the backfield. But I don't see a lot of props for Felton anywhere.
No. So I do think that for some reason I thought that Johnson came in and played a lot last week. But I must be misremembering that, because that clearly didn't happen.
Yeah,
so I guess never mind. Talking about the over being kind of nice.
Scratch it.
Scratch it. Get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, just if you're looking at this, right, and you're just seeing there's one running back for the Browns, you almost feel like, well, he has to go over. There's a backup quarterback. It's windy, but I think Felton is going to get, I don't know, I would speculate to say like 15% of the snaps, maybe 20.
Oh, he should get more than that. I mean, he'll probably be in on passing downs.
Oh, yeah,
if nothing else.
I'll put it this way. in pure running situations, I think 15-20%, but then on top of that with the third downs. So maybe it's closer to 30.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So let's stay away from the Browns running backs.
Yeah.
All right. On the receiving side of things, we'll start with the Broncos again. We've got Cortland Sutton over under 60.5. We've got Javonte Williams over under 14.5. Kendall Hinton over under 16.5. You ever think that you'd see the day where you have a Kendall Hinton receiving prop that you can bet on?
Well, here it is.
There it is. Melvin Gordon over under 13.5. Noah Fant over under 41.5. Tim Patrick over under 43.5. And let me see actually if I can. Should be able to. Yeah, let me get rid of Cleveland for a second. And look at the receiving numbers that we have for these Broncos guys.
Yeah, well, my lean is over for Sutton, but it's a slight lean.
Yeah, I think just
Very
in general, we're in a situation that favors guys who run shorter routes because those are just going to be less affected by the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And Sutton is kind of that guy.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he runs shorter routes, but he's been a pretty good possession receiver. So I am also curious on his receiving prop number for catches.
So his receptions number is 4.5.
Yeah, that's just right where it should be, though.
Yeah, model has him at about 5.9 catches for 73 yards. Anybody else on the Broncos?
Not really. I mean, I would hope that Fant has a bounce back, but I guess he had a touchdown in garbage time. But overall, he didn't play well. But I just don't know there.
Yeah, the model does lean over for a lot of these guys just by like a couple yards apiece. Just because it likes Bridgewater to go over on his passing yards. So, I mean, those yards have to go to people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have any super strong leans on any individual players. I'm more like the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So on
that's fair.
On the Broncos or on the Browns side of things, the model actually likes Jarvis Landry to come right in and be the leading receiver for the Browns. I think that's asking a little bit much, but his yardage total is only at 40.5. And again, slot guy in a windy game. That could be an interesting look. Other numbers, Austin Hooper, 20.5. D'Ernest Johnson, 11.5. David Njoku, 18.5. Demetric Felton, 15.5. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 30.5. Jarvis Landry, like we said, 40.5. And that's it. Not seeing an OBJ number.
Anything with those tight ends?
It's just so hard to know who's going to get the targets.
Yeah. Yeah, one angle I guess I had just thinking about a backup coming in is having someone who's running shorter routes that's more reliable, not on the outside, but at the same time, Case Keenum could just favor like a guy like Landry as his favorite target. So it's really hard to say.
Yeah, it is. Landry feels like just role-wise the guy who's going to be in the best situation today, but it's hard to trust him with this being his first game of the year coming off IR, and probably still not being 100%. So I think, again, just like it was with the Broncos, I want to fade the receivers. There are just so many guys who need 2 catches, 3 catches to hit their numbers, or if they don't get those targets, they go under. I'd rather just bank on the passing attack as a whole having a little bit more volume and taking a Keenum prop as opposed to
Yeah.
any individual receiver.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So on the touchdown side of things, anything that you're interested in? What's kind of interesting, actually, is the top two guys, touchdown number-wise, are the two backs for the Browns, Johnson and Felton, at plus 110 and plus 165. When was the last time that the guy with the second lowest odds to score a touchdown in the whole game was plus 165? That just shows you how lacking both of these teams are in like a well-defined number one option.
Or when was the last time that the second lowest odds has no other props?
Well, they had a receiving number.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
No rushing though.
No rushing number.
Yeah, I was having a hard time finding anything. So, very interesting. Not a lot of opportunities, I guess, at least from what the books think. But yeah,
Yeah. Big Sonic says, I've got Keenum, 19 completions, and Teddy over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Both nice plus money plays. Yeah. I like that Keenum one quite a bit. Passing touchdowns for Bridgewater, over 1.5, so he needs at least 2. I mean, that's... I think that the Broncos will score 3 touchdowns. I just don't know if Bridgewater gets 2 of them through the air.
yeah. We'll see though, because I guess in the red zone, I'm thinking the Broncos have mixed it up pretty split between run pass. So there's an opportunity, but it just kind of comes down to, do they get to the 3-yard line and then run it in with either Williams or Gordon?
Yeah, so what is interesting is, so Gordon on the year has 2 rushing touchdowns in 6 games. Javonte Williams only has 1.
Yeah, Williams.
Bridgewater has 10 passing touchdowns.
Does he have a receiving touchdown too, Williams?
Neither of the backs have receiving touchdowns.
Okay, yeah. Man, for how good Williams has been playing.
Just 1 touchdown.
Just seems like we're underutilizing him. And that kind of goes back to what I'm saying with Shermer. I mean, at a certain point.
At the same time, though, it's not like Gordon's been bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, Melvin Gordon is playing quite well. Melvin Gordon, actually, for the whole season, has more yards per rush and more yards per reception than Javonte Williams does.
Yeah, he has 2.
He does have a couple very big
breakaway
plays.
But at the same time, we can't just... I mean, I know you could say it's an outlier, but at the same time, you have to say, well, he got there and hit the hole. So,
Yeah.
but regardless, I just think they need to get both the backs more involved in creative ways.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah. Shit, I would like to see them both out there. Run a little 21 personnel.
Mm-hmm. Little
2
wishbone.
running backs. Oh, Shermer's head would explode. He'd be
Triple
like,
option the whole time. What if the Browns came out and just ran triple option the whole game?
The Browns?
No, I mean not the Browns, the Broncos.
The Broncos.
It'd be even crazier
But hey,
if the Browns did
you
it.
can still run a two running back set, and then you put 2 in the backfield, and then stretch Williams out as a receiver.
Yeah, they should just run the Maryland eye.
But Shermer would
3
never do
backs,
it.
all in a line behind the QB.
Shermer's head would explode. He would be like, "What? 21? 2 running backs? No."
That's illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, long story short, though, touchdown props, staying away from, as always.
Nick, hypothetically, if Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs' offensive coordinator, if he was somehow, some way, just put into this game as the Broncos, they'd probably be favored by 3 points.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe that's.
I think that's a little
that's
extreme.
that's the fan in me talking. Right?
That is the fan in you. So anything else that you want to talk about in this game?
No, I think we covered as much as we could for what we know.
Yeah, definitely
It's just
a lot of
one.
uncertainties in this one. Even relative to the already uncertain task that is trying to handicap NFL games.
Yeah.
So if we don't have anything else, let's get into our favorite picks for the day. So Ben, it can be a game level pick, it can be a prop level pick. What is your favorite bet of the day going to be?
Let's see here. I just want to find the best number that I can. One sec. Let me just make sure that it's
Where's your fancy prop checking website?
pulling it up right now. Okay, I got it. Javonte Williams over 48.5 rushing yards. That's on FanDuel. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Williams. Big game today.
Yeah. And then it looks like we're seeing 49.5 to 51.5 on other books. Do you still like it at those numbers?
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be tight, though, because I honestly don't think he gets more than 11, 12 carries. But I do like for him to have at least a significant breakout play. And I know that's maybe not the best way to look at something like this because you're counting on it. But at the same time, he's been explosive. He's looked good. I think he's going to have a decent run. I mean, 10 yards. If he gets a 10-yard run, I think we would be feeling good about it. So,
Yeah. And I am gonna go. I have to think for a second. I think I'm just gonna take over 40 as my favorite play here. I think this is 2 in a row. Primetime games where I've just taken a total. Or 2 Thursday night games in a row where I've taken a total.
and
Oh yeah, we
Nick,
didn't do a stream on Monday because I had no power.
Nick, you know what's funny is the narrative for this game is just it's going to be so low scoring and it's going to be ugly. But we've seen on Thursday nights what happens when everyone thinks one way, the opposite happens. So
Exactly. Yeah. And if I were to go props, I like all of the quarterback related passing overs. So both guys yards over. The completion overs, especially for Keenum, I think that was a really solid find. So I like all those. I'd probably take the Keenum completions over 19.5 for my favorite prop today.
I like it. Let's go Broncos.
Let's go Broncos.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them too. If we could get like a 41-0 Broncos win, we probably hit all of our bets tonight.
That would be impressive.
Probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
Probably not. All right, so I believe that's going to wrap up the stream for today. Thank you, everyone, as always, for being here. We appreciate that very much. Next streams on the docket. Ben, do you have anything planned for Saturday?
That's to be announced. If you guys are in the Discord, we'll let you know if we end up doing anything on Saturday. But if not, Sunday morning at 11 Eastern.
Yeah. And that'll be full 11-game slate run through. No props. I'll just game level stuff. But there's that. And then Monday Night Football, 5 o'clock Eastern. Or no, 7 o'clock Eastern. 5 o'clock Mountain for us. But we will see you guys then.
Alrighty, guys. Good luck. See you later.
Later.